Good evening, guys, and welcome to our SGS live Friday night chat. New night for us, isn't it?
It is.
I'm sorry if we're confusing you with the different days we're coming on, and we're just trying to sort of find a day that works. And obviously, with all our busy schedules during lockdown, joking, but with different nights when we've got commitments and stuff, we're just. My watch just went off. Sorry. Literally, we're trying different nights and trying sort of longer shows. So the general format of the show has been talk about the topic, and then talk about our favourite experiences. Then on one night over the weekend, we've been almost bringing you the footage. But with EVPs, it's difficult to sort of which is what obviously tonight's topic. With EVPs, it's we just thought it'd be better to do one longer show for you on a Friday night. Hopefully, you've all had a nice sunny day and you're just chilling out with a cold beer or a glass of wine. And
that sounds good.
Yeah, we're going to bring to you EVPs this evening. Yeah. Not for me, no, but I reckon, So, welcome to the show. Thank you for everyone that's tuning in. Thank you for people that have been in contact. We've had loads of new likes and shares. Again, we broke the 200 barrier on our YouTube channel, which is amazing. Only 700 and something to go, but but we're working our way there. So tonight's team is myself and Lee. We've got Andy, and we've got Mary, and we've got Michael joining us as well. So Michael's coming in this evening as well. There we go. Great timing. How you doing, Michael? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
I think
You all right?
he's just killed it.
We are live, so mind your P's and Q's, obviously. How dare I?
Well-mannered.
So tonight's show is about EVPs. So we're going to be sort of talking what is an EVP, not to try and bore you too much, really. And then we've sort of picked 9. I think we've got about 9 EVPs. We're going to get through as many as we can, but we're going to sort of talk through the EVPs that we've got. We did an EVP show on a different format, didn't we? Which we've sort of tried to bring some new ones and some of the sort of favourite ones back as well. Michael, you wouldn't have seen any of this, so I'm telling you this as well. I'm telling the audience as well. We're gonna play your peer one as well. We'll introduce you when you're going to be doing that, Michael. Anyway, but we've also had one of the people that views. We had Donna send one of hers in as well, which we've reviewed, and we're going to bring that to you as well. So that's also amazing. So yeah, the sort of communication from last week's show, lots of people liking, lots of people sharing, and it's been really good, isn't it? But we've got your comments. So we're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. Please feel free to ask any questions. Bring any sort of footage if you want to. We'll do our best to have a look at it. We'll do our best to answer whatever we can. But get involved in the show. Say hello. Let us know who's out there watching. And hopefully, we'll be able to answer some of your questions. And the way this is going to be really set up is we're going to be looking at EVP. So we're going to sort of what we're going to do is we're going to tell you the setup of the EVP. So we're not going to bring you along we're not going to tell you what we think it says, but what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to tell you the setup, so let you know where we were and sort of try and bring you into the picture of what we were doing and what sort of brought us to it. And then we're going to play the clip and then give you a chance to have a little listen to it and see what you think. And then we'll discuss it. And then we'll probably play the clip again. And at the very end, once you guys have got your sort of saying in, or depending if you're interacting with us or not, but once you guys have let us know what you hear, what you hear, or if it's a video, what you see, and then what we'll do then, we'll just sort of play that towards the end, and then we'll talk about what we think we've heard, because some of them we've gone at great length. I know one of the EVPs we've looked at, Mary, you've investigated the language. We played it forward, we played it backwards, we just slowed it down, and and actually we got a really good response to that. So I think that Michael's EVP in Bognor, the backstory amazing, really sets up the EVP as well. So I guess that's what we're going to be chatting about this evening. But say hello to us. No one's put any comments on yet. So if you are watching us, say hello. Let us know who's watching, and we'll go from there. So EVPs, I suppose it's for us. It's the sort of, I wouldn't say it's the holy grail, but it's really, really good to get an interaction in it. So you're asking questions, you're asking for a response, and it's amazing that when something happens.
It's my favourite kind of investigating. I think my favourite technique.
I reckon so. I mean, I think that a lot of us, if we've ever gone on other investigations when we're not running a group and stuff. I mean, I don't know, I've gone on ghost hunts with a Cat 4, K2, and an EVP recorder, and that's it, a dictaphone, and just sit there. And then, Michael, you've had a really good response, haven't you, when you go off and do your little EVP bursts and sort of tend to sort of break down, don't you, into smaller groups or just on your own? You've had some really good responses, haven't you?
I have. I've been fortunate. I mean, I've got them because I do a lot of them.
Yeah.
I don't get anything, but I put a lot of time into it. You know, and people say, "Oh, what equipment should I get? Get a voice recorder, or just use your phone and still record and give it a go." Because virtually everything we do, you can be skeptical and say, "Oh, well, it could have been this, it could have been that." When you hear back a voice that 100% isn't anybody that's in the room, especially when you're doing it on your own, disprove it. Tell me if somebody can explain to me what that is. Then do, because, and it's not like because I agree with Lee. It's my favourite piece of equipment, and you know when you see it on the telly and it comes up with subtitles. That, to me, yeah, it's okay. It's something's there. But some of the ones we've got, and we've all got them as a group, no subtitles needed. When it comes back clear, and the hairs on the back of your head, stand up, because it's what we're going for. It's what we want. We want that interaction. And when it's an intelligent response, even if it might be telling you, to get out or whatever, it's still an intelligent response. And it's what we want. It's what we're all after. And it's probably the hardest thing to just dismiss easily. Yeah,
definitely. It's nice, especially when we set it up properly. It can be really rewarding to get EVPs, well, can't it? Because like you said, you say you've been lucky, but you put the effort in, you put the time in, and I know we've worked a lot on our questioning. We look at the terminology that would have been around at that time. We're not winging it. We sometimes, not most of the time we are, but we in terms of winging it, we put that effort in. We're really respectful. We generally look for that response. We're sitting there saying there's no comments. Lee's comment thing isn't loaded on the screen, so we've got Vicky. Yes, I'm sitting. No one's talking to us. So Vicky's on. Zoe, Donna's on. Sylvia, Ivy May. Let's have a look. Yeah, and then they're just people that said hello so far. So welcome to tonight's show, guys. So evening, like I say, keep them coming up. If you see me looking down, I'm not checking the football scores or watching football like I was last time. I'm actually, I'll answer your questions from here, really. So EVP. So we're going to give you a bit of a whistle-stop tour to what we class as an EVP. I know you can go online and look at it and stuff, but Andy, are you ready to do your little bit on EVPs?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at that. So, before we talk about exactly what an EVP is, I thought we'd understand and discuss and establish a baseline for what sound is. So, basically, think about a washing machine. Now, a washing machine, when it vibrates during the spin cycle, etc., you can hear it pretty loudly. Yeah, it doesn't have a speaker and it doesn't have a mouth, yet you can hear it. And the reason being is because the washing machine is vibrating against the ground and the kitchen counter, etc., and that vibration then moves air molecules, which then travel through the air towards your ear. When they hit your ear, they hit your eardrum. Your eardrum vibrates in exactly the same frequency as the washing machine was. Your brain then uses some clever nerve endings to be able to then translate that to the sound of the washing machine, and then you know that your clothes are getting washed, but there was nothing there generating the sound apart from vibration. That is why EVPs are kind of interesting, because when you have an EVP, that is recorded on a device which wasn't heard at the present time. So no one heard that voice, but yet it was able to vibrate your ear, or in the case of a microphone, it was vibrating the diaphragm on the microphone, and then that moves a magnet. That magnet goes through a coil. That coil generates an electrical signal, and that goes to the recorder, just like your ear does. And there was no physical transference of air pressure waves, which then created that sound and that recording. And an EVP, it's got onto the recorder. It hasn't gone through the microphone in a conventional way. It hasn't gone to an ear in a conventional way. So where did it come from? Now, there are lots of theories about how you got a recording on a device without it being passed through the air. And we've got a good video on YouTube, which is called EVP Intermediate, which goes through a lot of the common theories and how you can then think about those when you're investigating, etc. And that means that I would go and check that out, because it's quite a good way of thinking about what happening with EVPs, thinking about how to introduce those into investigations by eliminating other sources, by knowing the fact that you're in this room, you're recording with a device, and if you're not hearing something and checking back later, that wasn't anything in the room physically moving that air. I think that's basically it. Sorry.
I reckon so.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks.
So, like I say, it's the key thing that we, if you think about ghost hunting, you think about investigations, go back to, even when people that are not interested, is there anybody there? Like, people have been calling out and trying to record stuff for ages, and for us, we have probably as many skeptical people talk to us about ghost hunters as people that love it and are generally interested. And for us to be able to sort of play that, especially if it's in direct response, I like catching any sort of EVP. When you've asked a question or you've asked something, and then all of a sudden you get that response back. I think that's
response.
Or the response you've managed to capture is it's relevant to the building, or it's relevant to what sort of happened. So, and I'm hoping that the 9 that or depending on how we get through this evening, the ones we'll play this evening, you'll be it'd be interesting to see what you think. Last time we did a similar sort of show to this, you actually really made us think, and actually we went away. I think there was one of them we might get to the galleries. Yes. We thought it said we were. I think even on the night we thought we thought it. I'm not going to say it. I nearly said it then. I always give the away,
but ground rules. We don't say what we think we can hear before we play the clip. That's for sure.
Yeah, but we thought it said something, and we almost continued to sort of investigate along those lines. But when we've played it to yourself and we've watched it back, and we sort of played it back, and we sort of looked at the scenarios, and we've got your view on it. It's been really interesting, hasn't it? It's been really, really interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to, like I think I said at the start of the show, anyone's just joined us, how we're going to work this is, we will give you the setup. So we'll give you the building name, how we sort of set the room up, and almost a general, as much as our knowledge, because some of these aren't our own recordings, that might be one of the teams that are not on tonight, but we've sort of got the backstory to it. So we'll give you a bit of an idea of how we've gone about doing it. We'll play the clip, and then we'll come back and then give you guys a chance to say what you heard. Really. And again, we'll probably play it a couple of times, Andy, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the clips I've put together have a bit of a loop built into them, and sometimes we just cut down to the bit where we're focused on. So the initial clip will have a longer piece, so you can get adjusted to the noise of the room, etc., and whoever's calling out, and then repeat it with a shorter piece which is more focused on it. On occasion, I've bumped up the volume on some of it, and if I've done that, then I make a note of it. Speaking of bumping things up, Vicky put in a question. You can pick up maybe.
Okay.
So Vicky's asked about EVPs, and if perhaps the reason why you can't hear them but you record them is because they're in a higher frequency than human hearing, which is an interesting question, because recorders do record at a higher frequency than most people's hearing. The thing is that if it's a higher frequency, it's also at a higher pitch, so it also sounds much higher end. And when you actually play back the EVP, you can have a look at the frequency it came through at. And interestingly, most of the frequencies we've seen in EVPs are actually very low, quite low in the human range, and usually a little bit lower than human speech. So although that could be a factor, that we end up recording something very high frequency you've not heard, most EVPs tend to be much lower frequency.
If we go along the theory that spirits are able to operate in the electromagnetic field, EMF, and they use that for their energy, the field of energy, so it will have waves. If they, and that will have a sound, at some level it will have a sound, it'll have a hum. And sometimes when you hear recordings back, you can hear the static, or you can hear the humming of the background. If spirits if they're manipulating this EMF for their own use, then maybe they can adjust those waves that they can use it to make sound. Bear in mind they can't make sound themselves, but perhaps they could alter the waves of that field that would make sound that only would be picked up by a voice recorder that we wouldn't be able to pick up ourselves in the same way it picks up static that we don't hear.
That's kind of like how FM radio works. So FM radio is on one frequency, but they modulate a smaller bandwidth for that frequency to actually create things you actually hear, so that's kind of an interesting point.
Definitely, I think the whole topic of EVP. I think I always say that we could have like 10 shows on it, couldn't we? Especially and that's why I think that it was really good you did those videos, because it's not teaching people to suck eggs, but it really gets you to think about. And I think it's almost changed the way that we've investigated. Just looking at sort of controlling the room a bit more, but also asking relevant questions. And we've had a really good response, and we would just sort of tailor in what we do. And just sort of trying to work, I suppose trying to work the room and really trying to engage. So, we said we've been lucky enough to capture them. I think to pat ourselves on the back a little bit, I think we do it right enough. I think that we've got some really good responses. Maybe a few of them. I think the galleries we were quite raw and new, weren't we? It was just we could hear how excited you were. I think that I walked into the room, but yeah. So I suppose we've got better with age. We're like a fine wine, I think.
I reckon so.
We have age.
But actually, there's nothing wrong with that, because you've got to adapt to the situation.
Definitely.
We're constantly trying to hone our, what we say and our skills to interact with that. But yeah, there is a real element of, you might have certain preconceptions about going into a building, about what you're going to experience there. But when it actually comes down to it, it's whatever works on the night, and whoever you think has come through, and what will relate to them. So you have got to wing it a little bit. You've got to be adaptable, because especially some of these places, we've said before, get investigated 2-3 times a week. And you think, if I was a spirit, most people would probably start to bore me a little bit by now. So you've got to try, but it's true, is that they will hear the same thing every week. You've got to try and be a little bit different. You've got to try and hit that nerve that makes them go, oh, and that you get the reaction.
Definitely.
I think, also, I think we've got better since we started to introduce the EVP bursts as well. So we're listening back. So I'll explain what that is. So what we used to do on investigations, we'd have 3 voice recorders in 3 groups, and we would just literally, they'd go for an hour to an hour and a half a session. You press record, and we'd leave it, and then stop it at the end, and then we'd have like 6 hours worth of recordings, or like probably an hour and a half, probably 4.5 hours recording, that we would have to then go and review, and we wouldn't probably get to it. Really, if it's a Saturday night investigation, we're still going through some of our recordings now. Whereas, so we used to do that, and then just get really mundane. And also, if you get a response, it's Wednesday night. Like, you're not there anymore. Like, you could have missed something. And so we do a lot more EVP bursts now. So it's literally short, sharp questions. Listen back to it there and then, so you're able to then really pick up. Because I mean, it's been 26 minutes into the show. We've not mentioned the P word yet, but poor Villia,
Hey.
where we went,
There we go.
Who had 26 minutes?
26 minutes into it. But that will always be my biggest regret. We went off. We caught an EVP, which we're not playing tonight. We're going to do a show on it, but we caught an EVP, which we interpreted that it said, I can say this one, get out of here. So we were like, so we listened back to it. We thought it said get out of here. So then, we were then saying, listen, well, why are you like we come along? We're being friendly. We want to try and, if there's a way we can help you, we want to try and chat with you, and that sort of stuff. But we went off for the next 2 hours, but we didn't capture another voice, did we at all? Because this EVP had said something, and thought we heard something, and we'd gone off on a tangent, saying, well, why do you want us to get out of here? And sort of like that. But actually, when we've got back and we've listened to it, it says, I want to get out of here. And actually, when you look at my questioning before, I think one of the questions were, is there a way we can help you? Excuse me. Yeah. Is there a way we can help you? So yeah, frustratingly, we went off on a tangent on it, really. So, excuse me. We still live, yeah?
I guess so, is it?
Oh, my Facebook's been off. Yeah. So literally, Yes, we want tangents. So it's about, I think with EVP bursts, it's really good that we listen back to them there and then we're able to then we sort of tailor our, say tailor, then we sort of tailor the rest of the night, don't we? In something cool. It's also a good indication whether to stay in that room or not. If you've been in there for an hour, you're not getting too much of a response. Then you sort of listen back. You haven't sort of then, not caught something. So
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I reckon we've talked 30 minutes on EVPs. Shall we play the first one, Andy? Do you want to go for the first one?
So this was recorded at Craggy Nos by Jason, who's one of our team, who's unfortunately not here tonight, but hopefully we'll get him on this soon, because he's got an awful lot of really interesting evidence, including this piece. And the setup for the investigation here was that someone was doing a bit of calling out, and in the background Jason was having a conversation with, I think, Mark, about a new camera that they'd got. And then during that calling out, then they heard a EVP, which was well, I didn't hear it. They recorded an EVP, which is quite interesting, and I won't tell you what it is. So if we play it, and then you can see if you can hear it.
Okay, stop again for me. Just for a minute.
Cheese.
Is that a good game? Just for a minute.
Cheese.
Is that a good game?
Cheese. Cheese.
Okay, so I looped it a few times there, and if you just let us know what you think you can hear in the comments, we can see if it's similar to what we can very clearly hear for ourselves as well. So maybe a bit more about Craggy Nos while people are taking a thought about what they heard. It's a mansion which was owned by a singer, wasn't it? A famous singer.
Adelina Patti.
And that was the one. Thanks very much. Which has got nothing to do with this particular clip, because to us it sounds quite male, and maybe even with a Welsh accent as well. So, any comments to get back from what people might have thought if we heard that?
Someone says she or she. Julie says.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Should we have another little playback, maybe?
Yeah.
Just
let's play it again.
Get used to it.
Zoe said she thought cheese.
I always think about cheese.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, stop again for me. Just for a minute.
Cheese.
Is that a good game? Just for a minute.
Cheese.
Is that a good game?
Cheese. Cheese.
Okay, there you go. That's playback again. It's certainly quite an interesting one. I don't think anyone really reacted to it after it was heard. I think Jason mentioned that no one really kind of heard it at the time.
So I suppose, do you want to? I suppose we should tell them about the setup and what was going on, because I think that Zoe put she thought cheese, and then she put a laughing face next to it. But actually, that's really relevant, isn't it, to the actual setup of what was going on?
Yeah. So just to run over that again. So there was someone calling out. I think it was Dan, actually. Now listening to that voice, and in the background, Jason and Mark were talking about a new camera that they were just trying out. I think I'm not sure if he was actually taking pictures with a camera whilst that was going on, or they were just talking about it.
So yeah. So actually, your cheese comment is really relevant, because obviously they're talking about a camera, and I think Mark did say they were taking shots, they were taking photos. So actually, cheese is really relevant, because obviously that's what you say you were doing. You know, it could be someone just mocking us or someone just humouring us or whatever when they're talking about a camera. But like you say, no one really reacted to it at the time. It wasn't really heard until they went back and listened over it. But actually, when they went back and thought what they were doing, cheese is what. Yeah, we thought we saw it, but she, yeah, C or she.
Really.
She's maybe.
No, don't think of any.
She's. Yeah. It's an interesting point when you think about it, actually, when you go to a location and you're taking lots of photos. If you were taking photos of a person, you'd ask them first as well, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Or at least you'd say, okay, and then you'd say, geez, and then to warn them you're about to take the photo, generally, and get them to smile a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. But so we think it's cheese, don't we, as well? So
yeah. And sort of thing to say, you know, set up the camera, say cheese, and that sounds like that's what they were saying. Yeah.
Cool. There we go then. So keep the comments coming, guys. If you heard anything else, or you think it says something else, or there's anything you think we've missed, or not looking at it from a different angle, then let us know. Because, like I say, a few of these we went into this thinking what we heard, and then you guys have done some suggestions in a previous chat we did, and we actually listened to things differently, and we actually changed our mind on a few, didn't we, as well? So
yeah, we did, yeah.
But yeah, we're on the same lines as cheese, just because the whole camera setup. I think it wasn't talking about the camera. It is one of them where you just think. You know, you sort of.
It's quite a clear voice, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and it does sound a bit Welshy, like a Welsh twang. I think it does.
Welshy.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
A little Welshy. Mark just commented on YouTube, says that they were actually taking IR stills at the time.
There we go.
Perfect. So they were actually taking photos at the time, so that there is yeah. So it's relevant to the situation. You know, actually makes it a really good EVP. It's clear. You don't need any subtitles for it. You can hear it clearly, and it's relevant to what was going on at the time. So I think it makes it a really good EVP.
Yeah.
Cool. One down then. No technical glitch. We're still on.
We're still on.
Yeah, we got through one.
Cool. So the next one then, you're going to talk for this one, Mary, yeah?
Yeah. So this one was at Shepton Mallet prison, which again is one of our favourite sort of locations. It's an amazing building. You know, it's a massive prison. It's one of the oldest prisons in the UK, and the really interesting thing is that it was built from the 1600s, and it's been a prison all the way through its life. Various sort of different types of prisons, but from the 1600s there's been a prison on that site, so it's an amazing sort of place. It went from sort of, you know, being the 1600s all the way through, and it went through to a military prison after the World War II. It's had the Cray twins there, so, you know, sort of a real sort of really big sort of history. You know, everybody knows the Cray twins, you know. So when we were there, it was a really atmospheric sort of place, and when we visited, we'd been told that a riot scene had actually just been filmed for Casualty, and I think this helped with the atmosphere that we were there. It kind of sort of I would say probably increased the energy around the building, and on this night, it's true what Michael sort of said, we kind of adapt ourselves to the location or the event. And on this occasion, Dan had a really good idea to sort of send. I think there was about 6 of us ladies there, and we went in with an all-female group, and I think that was part of the reason why we captured sort of some of the evidence that we did there. So without going into too much detail before playing it, but we went into a female block. We actually had an event right at the beginning of the night, which kind of set us all on edge. Dan had walked us into this the women's block, which I think it was block C. We had some really loud banging at the beginning of the night, but again, always should learn, we didn't have anything set up recording at the time. But for this EVP, after that event, we were just setting up, there was two ladies in the cell with me, and I was just getting equipment out of my equipment box. And I think I'm going to leave it there. There were other ladies sort of setting up on the corridor, but I think let's play it, see what people say, and then I can give the second part of the explanation in terms of why I thought it was relevant, and what I thought we can hear. But again, if anybody out there thinks it says anything different, just let us know. Let us know in the comments. So over to you, Andy.
You're really trying to hold it back there.
I am.
I'm
trying not to say anything.
Okay.
Yes, there will be cat balls. Put some in the corridor, that's all right. Yes. Yeah, that's perfect. Not that we'll possibly go straight on, because what I want us to do. That flipped. Right, that's it.
Okay, that's the clip.
Okay, so let us know what you think. Andy and I kind of done a lot of investigating around this. So when I first listened to it, I thought it actually sounded like me. So we then sort of had to slow it down and really look into it just to make sure. My first thought was it just does sound like me, but I can't speak that fast. So we had to then sort of slow it down and sort of really investigate it. So
is it worth maybe replaying it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go for another.
Yes, there will be cat balls. Put some in the corridor, that's all right. Yes. Yeah, that's perfect. Not that we'll possibly go straight on, because what I want us to do. That flipped. Right, that's it. Yes, that's what I do. That flipped. Right, that's it.
Okay, I did a little extra loop there just so people could hear the clip again.
Okay. So I think we've had some feedback online. Nikki says whispering female. Vicky says yes, please. And then we've just played it again. So
I think it's for me as well. When you sort of sent this one through, we were like, I sort of dismissed it straight away, because basically what I did is I sort of listened to it and I did like first, second, and third. And if I can't hear it on the third go, it's almost like if it's taking me that, I know I'm listening for an EVP, but actually I don't know what I can hear. I actually crossed it off because I thought it was you, but you did some work, didn't you, Andy, on the frequencies as well of voices, didn't you?
Yeah, so we took a sample of Mary speaking and a couple of the other voices that you can hear earlier in the recording, and looked at the frequencies of that person's voice to kind of work out what their profile was for their speech pattern. And then we took that other whispered clip and did the same sort of thing, and they didn't match. That clip didn't match with anyone else who was talking there at all. I mean, it could have been someone who was there who hadn't previously talked, and we can do a profile on those, but otherwise it certainly wasn't Mary's. And then if you actually listen to the longer clip at the start, Mary's kind of talking before and then slightly over the end of it as well, which would be difficult for someone to do.
Yeah, so we once we'd gone through that clip and sort of reviewing the frequencies of it, I then decided to sort of slow it down, try and clean up the audio just so that we could sort of try and understand it a bit more. And actually the backstory of when we were actually in the room, we could hear the word 7, which was quite relevant to the investigation, because before that we'd actually seen that a light had come on in cell 7, and actually Dan and Lee were doing a live on that night, and actually you have from the other side where you've actually sort of gone, is that light supposed to be on? So you could see it from outside, we've recognised it from inside, and when we done the tour at the beginning of the night, that light wasn't on. So then to sort of follow on with the EVP, so we think it sort of says something along the lines of float away to 7, and then you hear another voice saying all right. So we couldn't really understand that sentence, so we then looked at prison slang and prison words, and actually float away is something that cell inmates do to pass something along with it while they're in a prison. So that's what we think it is that it was float away to 7, and then the word 7 is relevant because the cell light was on at the same time. So, you know, but again, if anybody hears anything different, you know, I'm always open to it, and you know, want to hear what people sort of think it might say. Yeah
Definitely. Cool. Anyone else anything on it? Vicky said she thought she heard that one. Donna's just found us again, I think, because we went live a couple of times. Donna was waiting on one of the other streams, I think. So Donna's reloaded and she's on now. Donna, you've only missed I think you only missed 2. You might have caught the back end of the second one. So there's one we played before and then this one, so you haven't missed too much. So definitely an interesting one. Definitely, you know, I think what we said we're going to do with all these is we're going to put them together into a video, and then we're going to launch the video on YouTube, so you'll be able to go back and listen back to them. And still, if you're watching it back or whatever, give us some feedback on it. You know, we're all, you know, like I said, we do a lot of work into the frequency side of things and looking at language and stuff. But you know, it's a fresh pair of ears. It can be really good for us. So yeah, if you hear anything else, let us know. But
so
cool.
Vicky has said, have you got it slowed down? So I don't know if you played that one.
Yeah, I played one which is slightly slowed down the end.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could replay it quickly.
Yeah, do you want to play it one last time, I reckon? Because it's a sentence, isn't it, that we'd like to get a view on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary's giving the game away.
Sorry.
Yes, there will be cat balls. Put some in the corridor, that's all right. Yes, yeah, that's perfect. Not that we'll ask them to go straight on, because what I want to do.
Yep, I'm back.
Amazing. Welcome back. So thrown tonight with all these sort of technical stuff. So, as I sort of say on each week, if you've got any footage or any that you want us to listen to, or there's anything you want us to go over, or even if it's something you've captured with us on a voice recorder, or you've been on another ghost hunt, then definitely send it through, because it's worth listening to. And actually, over the last couple of days, Donna, who's come along to a few events with us and helped out and stuff like that, she sent over an EVP that she wanted us to listen to, and I think it's actually quite a good one. Michael, she was in your group actually, so it was in your group at Fort Widley. I think it was yourself and I think Liam and then a couple of others. And Donna sort of let us know that she was partly in the tunnels by herself. Very brave, you wouldn't catch me doing that. But not too far up, and the rest of the team were at the bottom. And then, so she didn't think there was much talking, although you'll hear sort of some questions and stuff. And actually, Michael was talking to the cat ball apparently. So the cat ball was going off actually on request to your questions, Michael. So this is Donna's recording she sent in that she caught on an event while she was in your group, mate. So, but yeah, so she asked us to have a little listen back through it, and then once we got a bit of an idea of what, a bit of an idea of like the sort of setup and who was there, it actually is quite an interesting EVP. Although that, yeah, if we want to see what you guys think, have a little listen and then see what you think.
Can you tell us your name? Sorry, don't mean to disturb you. Are you having fun playing with that ball? Can you tell me your name? You having fun?
Please ask if we are speaking to a male.
You having fun?
Okay, so I think it's after the point where you ask, "Are you having fun?" and then there seems like a couple of answers, and then something else straight after that as well.
Interesting. Let us know what you hear on that one. It was one of them where you sort of, once you got a better idea of who was there. I also said that in Donna's, if you look at Donna's picture, she's got 2 glasses of wine. I think she's got a bit of an issue. She did try. She tried to tell me that the white one wasn't hers, but I think you know what can't speak, can't lie. Can it? It's there. It's evident.
Yeah, main course and dessert. That's what that is.
But Donna sent that one in. Like I said, it's really good to get some interaction from you guys as well. So it's really good that she sent that one in. I think it was a good question. It was relevant because, like I said, I don't know where the bug. I don't even know if you remember the event. We all sort of blend into one, don't know? We do so many of them, but it would have been on one of your events. I think
it would have been one of the last ones we did, if not probably the last time we were there, would it?
Yeah, maybe actually. Donna's on. So Donna, did you know when about this was? You know, like roughly when it was? But yeah, she'll
I think that would have been. Yeah, I think that would have been with Liam as well. I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, she said it was yourself and Liam.
That was the last time we were there.
Was it? So that would have been October. October. We did one last Whitley, didn't we?
Oh yes, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, we had. I think might have been October time then. But yeah, it's really relevant because you're asking for the cat ball to go off and it's going off on request, and then the question, are you having fun? And then the answer.
We had quite a lot that night. And if I remember rightly, the cat ball was in the tunnel, and it was responding the whole time. And I think also we had a couple of shadows in the tunnel as well. It was a good night, really actually.
I can't wait to go back. I can't go and investigate anywhere at the moment. We're going to have to.
I think we all would.
So John,
Should we, play that clip through again, maybe? Just
play it again.
So
you're saying it's after "Are you having fun?" Yeah, it's after that bit, and then
I think so, yeah. But Donna, please correct me if I'm wrong.
26th October
Okay,
it was the last event. She said.
Cool. Okay.
Can you tell us your name? Sorry, don't mean to disturb you. Are you having fun playing with that ball? Can you tell me your name? You having fun?
Please ask if we are speaking to a male.
You having fun?
Okay.
We're back. We think it definitely. Again, we've listened to it a couple of times now. I think that someone said that John said like a yes and a no, but in like different voices. So I wonder whether you were chatting to more than one, maybe, because John
And a little giggle as well.
Yeah.
After.
Yeah.
Someone else said like a little bit of a like yeah. Vicky said yes and no. So that's the night. Set you, Michael.
Yeah, there's not the first time that's happened, Donna.
Yeah. So yeah, she put. Yeah, that's right. That was the night I upset you, Michael, as the woman on the rods didn't want you in there anymore.
Yeah, because we had a woman coming through on the rod, speaking to one of the ladies that was with us, and it went a bit. We seemed to lose it a little bit, and I kind of had the feeling that it was because of the guys in the room. So, yeah, sure enough, I had to leave, and then one by one, all the men had to leave. We just left the girls behind.
Nice.
So that's the good thing about the way we investigate. That's the good thing about we have got, we've got Mary with us, and we've got Heather with us, and we've got Donna with us. So that we can adapt to those situations, and we want to be there for every event. But sometimes, it's just like in life, you'll meet people you just can't get on with, and it's just the same with them. Sometimes they just don't want you there, and they choose who they want to be open to, and sometimes it's not going to be us. So
Nice.
the office really don't understand it.
So Vicky says she hears the laugh. It sounds like a child, and then Julie said it sounds like two voices. One replies yes, and then like a shout of no, and then a giggle. I think that's what we're hearing, and I think that's what we're hearing.
Yeah. The first one's quite calm, yes, and the second one's quite panicky.
Mm.
Like it's almost.
No.
I was trying to recall, what the girls that were with us that night were like. If something would have happened, if they would have panicked like that and gone, no. But actually, there was a really good, calm, interactive group, and I just don't think they would have panicked like that. So,
No.
Would you say that no even sounded female? It sounded a little bit more male to me.
No.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point,
The
you
male.
say that the men had left the group.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly a female group anyway. I mean, there's only myself, Liam, and I think one other guy, maybe two other guys. It is mostly a female group we had that night.
Good. It's good EVP, I think. Donna said thanks for playing. It's no problem at all. Like I said, I've said it every single show we've done. Like I said, send some stuff in and we'll review it for you and have a play, most definitely. But yeah, it's good to hear other people's footage, because in fairness, we probably wouldn't, that's your recording that we probably wouldn't have had access to, or we probably wouldn't until we see you on the next event where you'll say we captured this. So this is why this show is really good for you to link into us. But the next one we're going to do is one that took place at Skirridin, and I'm going to hand you over to Mary. I know someone on YouTube said they like the Skirridin, so this was captured at Skirridin, and I'm going to hand you over to Mary now to talk through that one.
Yeah, so again, I think I'll probably say this about every location that we go to. It's one of our favourite locations. But it's again fantastic place. It's in the Brecon Beacons in Wales. And I'm sure sort of lots of people sort of are aware of it. But it's the oldest pub in Wales, if I can say it. It's been there 900 years. So again, the history behind it is just immense. In terms of sort of the setting of the building, so it's a pub and it's used every day. But the history, and this is where it probably gets a little bit gruesome, but the first floor of the building was used as a court of law where they issued capital punishment. And I've got noted down here 180 criminals were sentenced, enough where it was to be hanged. And the legend is that the hangings took place in the building, and you can see the rope marks on the oak beam. So again, this one is another one from Jason. He's our Welsh correspondent, a Welsh investigator.
National.
He is.
Our man in Wales.
Our man in Wales, yeah. But this was a really good EVP. Again, I really want to say what we think it is, but
And stop there.
without going too much into it, I'm going to explain the setup. So he was in the main bar area, and I think they started sort of calling out, but he had a camera set up, but this camera had been knocked over. So what you'll hear is Jason sort of going over, putting the camera back up, and then we will hear the EVP. And then I think once the guys online have heard the EVP, again, I'll explain a little bit of the backstory to it, to how we got to what we think is being heard. But I think I got there without you saying it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a teaser in the video as well, because for a long time, Jason wasn't sure what that was. He picked out there was a voice after the tripod fell down, but he didn't know what it was. So he started looking into kind of, was it some form of some old Welsh or something? Because it sounds like something, but it doesn't sound. You can pick out words. And it wasn't until we, as a team, were looking at it, and then I think it was Hev that said, "What's that sound like backwards?" And then we played it backwards. Then we could actually pick something out of it. So on the clip, you'll hear the original clip, and then you'll hear the result of what we then did to it. So there's two things here. One is if you can pick out anything initially, then that's amazing. And then if not, when we put it backwards, if you can pick anything out then. So it's an interesting one.
It's good.
It was like, sorry, I had to. Oh, what happened there then? I just fell over. You fell over, please. You push that over.
Yeah.
That's right, you're deadly. You've got to fold these stand.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite sturdy on there, but...
I can't remember what it said.
So yeah, well, we'll find out now. That's I'll tell you what. Just listening through that again, it creeps me out a little bit. So so if anyone lets us know what they maybe heard initially, and then if nothing, then see if you heard anything at all after we reversed it. And do you want to wrap up anything at all there, Mary? I've kind of ruined the story a little bit.
I know that. Sorry, I get a little bit distracted, so I'm listening back to it on myself. So I'll take me. So basically we heard the first part as Jason supplied it. So as Andy said, we then, and it sounded Welsh to me. So it sounded like something that would be said in the Welsh language. So I tried to sort of see whether I could actually translate it on Google. So it was just, and it did actually come through as help me. But as we were discussing it and reviewing it, Hev said, "Have you tried playing it backwards?" And then when actually you do play it backwards, that's when we think it actually says "help me," So it was a really weird loop, but that's where our line of thinking went to. But I don't know. Has anybody got any thoughts on
Nick, not the foggiest. No.
Should we try it again? Just so,
maybe play it one more time. Now that we sort of said about it going backwards and stuff, play it one more time and then.
It was like, sorry, I had to. Oh, what happened there then? I just fell over. You fell over, please. You push that over.
Yeah.
That's right, you're deadly. You've got to fold these stand.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite sturdy on there, but...
Okay, there you go. That's the second playthrough.
So
If, people can pick out.
played it a few times now. I think what Vicky said on there, the reverse sounds like "help me," and I think that was where we were. You know, that was where we were in terms of where we thought it went down. Yeah, that, along those sort of lines, really. So yeah, it's good that Vicky's picked up that. We reckon it says "help me." Like I said, when you so we have to manipulate and play it backwards, play it forward, slow it down, make it quicker, whatever. But there's definitely a word in there, you know. And especially you look at the translation side of things, and you look at them playing backwards. It was strange, isn't it? It's strange, and you know, if you think about the Skirrid wouldn't have been a happy place for many. So actually, the help me, you know, you probably wouldn't help if you found yourself up there with Judge Jeffries or that.
Apparently, wow.
Yeah, apparently he's been everywhere. He's
Everywhere, yeah.
But yeah, if you found yourself up there in court and then hung by the neck in the middle, so yeah, help me is quite relevant to the venue, really.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So next one. Where are we going to next? We keeping in line, are we?
Yeah, so maybe Gary's Justice.
I reckon so. This is you then, mate.
Yes. So this one was me and Dave. We were lucky enough. Was this the first time we went there? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
First time we ever went to the galleries in Nottingham. And I don't know how we managed to wing it. But me and Dave had a group on our own.
Just you two, wasn't it?
Just us two. Had every area we had. There was just me and him there. So it was brilliant. And on this occasion, we were. Where did we decide this was?
This is definitely. So if you've got the courtyard bit where the hangman courtyard, I guess, with the nooses, and then behind it is a debtor's prison, and there are two single dark cells there. I think they're blocked off now, but you were in them. Yeah, I think they can't even get in them now. You can only get in one.
Yes, yeah, it was there. So on this occasion, I was inside one of the cells. I think Dave was sat outside.
I thought you were like, but anyway, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
I think Dave was outside. I had the door shut, so I was in there on my own, door closed.
That's brave.
So brave, man. And so we were just calling out and asking different questions. And I think Dave was just chatting, you know, trying to get a response, and says something along the lines of this.
You said you feel sick at first, didn't you? You say I feel sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a bit sick. I think it was just me being scared, but so yeah, Dave said something along the lines of, you know, this place wasn't a very happy place, and we get a response. I'm not going to ruin it like
they said it then,
like Mary says, but I don't want to say too much. See what you guys think. For me, it's really clear. And again, like I said, there was only two of us in this. We had the whole of this, probably about 6 levels of prison cells to just me and Dave. So there was no way a voice from another group could have been, you know, this was just us two there. And yeah, let's go for it.
And it's quite far away from everywhere, isn't it? That
yeah, it's
dark cells.
I feel sick.
Yeah, it's one of them places. It's not a very happy place.
No, definitely not.
Happy place.
No, definitely not.
Okay, what do you think, guys?
That one might be worth a second playback as well, I think.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, let's play it back now before we say anything. It's so hard not to say it. So,
because what I did is on that one boost the volume a little bit at the end, so now you kind of know where to listen for in the original clip. Then you can hear it originally, and then you can hear it with a slightly boosted volume in the end.
Yeah, cool. Let's have a listen back then.
I feel sick.
Yeah, it's one of them places. It's not a very happy place.
No, definitely not.
Happy place.
No, definitely not.
Okay, there you go.
Interesting. So, Donna says she wants to do the galleries, and then I think Nikki says she loves the galleries as well. And then Vicky, Nikki, and Donna have all said no, it's not. So certainly along the lines of what we think. Certainly along the lines of what we think. And also, relevant to what you said. Like Dave
It's a
said,
definite response, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a response. It's responding to what Dave was talking about.
I think it's a really clear one. I think it's really clear because so Zoe's just put on there definitely not, and that's what you think.
I think it says no, it's definitely not. I think the voice answers saying no, definitely not.
The key thing is everyone's picked up that no, it's not.
Yeah.
So,
but again, like
Yeah,
you said,
I heard that it's not. But I love the manner it's been said in as well. But it's kind of grumpy. It's like, no, it's not.
and where I mean, in the debtors business, no light. They're literally, they were awful little cells. They were awful cells. They were cramped. You couldn't stand up in them. I don't think they were really low. I think they're really low down. But so it's relevant. And that certainly wouldn't have been a good.
That's over where the oubliette sort of lower cells are as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So it's like a bit of a museum bit. So you go round the outside of it, don't you? And there's like a little corridor, and then you've got the oubliette bit, and then you've got the two cells. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely not. No, it's not.
It's good,
and it's completely in the response to the response to what Dave said and how you were feeling.
But again, with this, what Dan was saying earlier, it was one of them where we recorded for hours.
Yeah.
So we didn't actually hear this at the time, which is unfortunate because then we could have, interacted a bit more and maybe picked up more. But we were just recording, then listened to this probably a week later, which is unfortunate. Now,
so annoying.
Yeah, now we'd have.
Now you'd listen to it back.
We'd have listened to it and picked it up and maybe communicated.
Because you guys may have sat in there, done your bit, because you're just talking amongst yourself, and then you would have left because you wouldn't. Nothing's going on now. We'll move on. But actually, if you'd have listened back to it, you'd have caught a Class A EVP. But I think that's one of the best. I think you said it's one of your favourites, isn't it?
Yes, this one. There's two from the galleries. If we get time, show the other one. But yeah, there's this one and that one probably up there as a clear EVP.
Nicky just said there, those cells are awful, like solitary. Yeah, they are awful cells. They are awful. I'm quite proud of you for saying them on your own, actually.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed. Close the door and everything.
Yeah, perfect. So the next one, we're going to move on to the next one. The next one was taken at the Ancient Ram Inn. Now, the Ancient Ram Inn, for anyone who knows, is probably the most renowned venue, I think, in the whole of the UK. If not, I know that Ghost Adventures have been there, so they've made it more international as well, aren't they? So we're really lucky enough to do the galleries of justice with, I think, 3 to 4 of us. We've done it with we've sort of done it with 4 of us, and we've been back there quite a few times. We've done it with John when John was living there.
Ram, you just said galleries.
Did I? Not galleries, the Ram. Sorry, yeah. So we did it when John was living there, and then when John moved out, we were able to go there. We were one of the first people to go there and investigate. I think it was on a Sunday we went and did it when it's completely empty. And we've always had. It's really odd. It's a really odd place. And the Ancient Ram Inn, like I say, it's well renowned. It's sort of built on ley lines. They found children's bones there. We've had all manner. I think we are going to do a Ram show, aren't we? We're definitely going to do a show on the Ram because we've got so much little bits and so much sort of personal experience and stuff that it'd be brilliant to bring to you. So this one, from what I can remember, it's probably, this one definitely is a few years ago, a good few years ago, and we were coming. I think it was like later into the evening, and it was a little bit quiet, and we'd had a really good start. We had footsteps caught upstairs. We had equipment playing. We had the wall rattle as well, and the general sort of conversation that went on was, I'm not going to say it because actually but you'll hear me say something basically along the line saying, I'd love, almost come on, like you almost got to the point where you're like, I don't have anything happen now. I'd love it to say this, and then the words are said. Now the key thing to listen to this, when we talk about it afterwards, is we don't react to it. So it doesn't really make sense. We've gone over, we reviewed it, and it's not one of us. It's not one of us, and we don't react to it. So there's not even like a snigger or anything like that. So let's play the video, and then see what you hear, and then we'll talk about it a bit further. But yeah, have a little listen, see what you think of this one.
I would nip to it first, isn't it? Cut your fucking head off.
Come on, is there anyone here? Anybody want to come?
Cut your fucking head off.
Okay. There you go, that's played.
Cool. So let us know what you hear. Like I said, I was at a stage where I was like, do you just want something just to happen? I'd love him just to say, yeah.
That's the spirit box.
Yeah.
So there's the spirit box going on in the background. The spirit box. I think at one stage we just had everything going. We had absolutely everything going. We had the spirit box going because actually where that was captured was in the bishop's room, and we had some really good spirit box stuff, didn't we? We had some.
Yeah.
We had the word bishop said, didn't we, and so that. So we're sitting in the room. Vicky's asking, can we replay that one?
Yeah, I think so. Let's give it another play.
How long does it cut your head off? Oh, we've lifted it there, isn't it? Cut your fucking head off.
Come on, is there anyone here? Anybody want to come?
Cut your fucking head off.
Okay. Let's see if anyone can pick something up from
see if
that second playthrough.
See if you picked up what we caught. But like I said, we would just had all manner of equipment going. We've been there quite a few. It's a cold place, isn't it? So once the cold sets in, you're on a sort of hard into nothing really. So we were sort of saying, listen, and I think I got to the stage where I was like, I'd love to sort of. We were talking about capturing EVPs, I think, and capturing evidence, and like you get like little snippets on these shows where you get like, was that a yes or was that this? And I think I just said, I'd love it to say, cut his effing head off. Random said it, and then that's what to me sounds like we captured. Like I said, we've got it on the people that were there, the people that were closest to the recording. Vicky can't catch that one. It's interesting, isn't it?
You get that with EVPs though. Sometimes you listen to it and you go, that absolutely says that, no questions asked. And you put it to someone else and they can't even hear the voice of it. I had that with some music, which I played to a whole bunch of people. Some of them heard music, some of them heard speech. It's a little odd. Maybe it's part of the phenomenon.
Interesting. Yeah. So we think it says. So I'm there and I say, I'd love it to say, cut his effing head off, and then the voice you'll hear. So you'll hear me say that, and then you hear like a raspy voice that says, cut his fucking head off.
Is it worth playing it?
Yeah.
Is it worth playing it one more?
We'll play it one more time. So yeah, now you sort of know. So I say, I'd love it to say, cut his effing head off, and then that's what gets repeated. But
I think Vicky wants to hear it again because it contains her second favourite word.
there we go. That's the reason I did it, mate.
How long does it cut your head off? Oh, we've lifted it there, isn't it? Cut your fucking head off.
Come on, is there anyone here? Anybody want to come?
Cut your fucking head off. Cut your fucking head off. Cut your fucking head off. Cut your fucking head off.
The odd thing, none of us reacted to it. Like,
Okay.
yeah, and that's, yeah, it does say it. So it does say, cut his effing head off. And what I can guarantee is that none of us reacted to it. No one sort of said it and then we laughed. It wasn't even picked up. We literally then just went, yeah, I think you can hear it now. Yeah. So I know it's just, I hate sort of saying, no, you can hear it now. I've told you what it says, but it sounds too good to be true because I've just said it. But Michael had said off screen there, did we hear it at the time? No, we didn't hear it at the time. And how would I have felt? And I don't think I'd have felt too comfortable if I'd have heard that because, yeah, we've had lots of things happen in the Bishop's room, but that's certainly a weird one we captured. So
is that Den afterwards who straight away then says, "Come on, do something now"?
Yeah.
Or you'll reply now. You wouldn't do that if you'd just heard that, would you?
No, because you would just say, "Oh, thank you for that." Like we didn't even we're really good at acknowledging. So if we capture something we hear, is that, and you normally hear us then start trying to debunk it, or we almost say, "Was that you?" Or did anyone just hear that? And then especially if it's because I knew when you have coffee and chocolate and stuff, like your belly starts to rumble, doesn't it? And then like you say, "Sorry, that was my belly," but actually,
is that your belly? They said, "Cut your head off."
yeah. Obviously, your belly doesn't say things like that, but normally going up to things, and when the group that were there was no one, no public. It would have been you, Jace, Simon. Were you there? No. So me, Jason, Simon, Mark Irwood, Dunny. Yeah. So actually, we're all really it's probably 50 years of investigation between us all. We don't set things like that up, and it's a really odd one. But yeah, cut his effing head off. That's what we hear. But But we didn't hear it at the time. We didn't even like say, we go, come on, come on, do something.
Now where we do the EVP bursts.
Yeah, we'd have listened back. Yeah, definitely. But that was Nick was there because that's captured. It was on Nick's SoundCloud as well, so Nick heard it as well. So cool. So last but not least, then, Michael, this is your one at the pier. Over to you, man.
The Pier Hotel Bar and Diner in Bognor Regis, which we went there because my good friend Shane, who over time was getting a lot of activity, and this was a really small investigation. There were 6 of us plus Shane, I think, and at this time we decided to have a short break. So everybody had moved into the bar area, bar myself and Hannah, who had held back in the offices just to pack some of the equipment up. Now, Shane is ex-military, and unfortunately lost 3 friends to an IED attack. Now, what you'll hear is you'll hear a bit of cluttering. You can hear my voice, and I am setting up a REM pod, which I wish we had photographed it, but I'll try and describe it best I can. It's kind of a cylinder, about that high, about that fat. There's a couple of lights from there and an aerial, and I've had it on good authority that it looks a lot like something that could be an IED. And what you'll hear is you'll hear me say, I'm just going to turn this on. You can hear Hannah talk a little bit after that, which is obviously a female voice, but everything else you hear after that was not heard in real time. There's only the 2 of us there, and the last thing I say is, I'm just going to turn this on.
Oh, listen.
And that's just the build up.
Okay.
So.
We're going to turn this back on.
Really hard to sort of like keep this torch somewhere where it doesn't feel what it's doing anyway. That was a
We're going to turn this back on. We're going to turn this back on.
Okay.
Definitely one of the favourites because of the setup. I mean, the backstory to this is a sad one, but also
that whole night for me was, I'm going to use the expression, holy grail. It was, I mean, I believe in spirits, I believe in intelligent, life after death and all that. But even if I hadn't, this would have absolutely confirmed it for me this night. And I think this is just the tick of a great night.
Yeah.
Don't turn it on. Heavy breathing for sure. Don't take me. Don't kill me. Yeah. I mean, it's the whole. I mean, for us, don't turn it on. Yeah. I mean, that's what we hear. Is you hear me, so I'm just going to turn this on, and you hear some heavy breathing. You hear the don't turn it on, and then you hear the continued, really quite distressful breathing. So,
it's a panic. It's a panic.
It is a panic, yeah. And I spoke to Shane about it, and he said that absolutely resembles an IED. And you're there in front of this guy. I mean, we can't see him. You're there in front of this guy, saying you're going to turn it on. And that would have been incredible anyway. But the backstory that goes with it, that's just an incredible night. I mean, yeah, Zoe, Julie, Donna, all saying don't turn it on. I mean,
yeah. Also, the EVP thing, like the last thing that you do is I'm going to turn it on, right? Like the breathing is an EVP. The voices, all that is the EVP in there. So I think that's sort of really key to sort of say that none of that is us. It literally the last thing you say before leaving the room, the breathing, the panic.
Literally, I said, I'm going to turn this on, put it down. I walked out. I want to join you for a little break, and then it was only later on that night we went back and we started going through because we were concerned at the time, will we even hear this? So you guys definitely were close, because prior to that, me and Hannah even had a discussion, will we hear this if it goes off? So that's the distance away from us that you were at that time. So yeah, incredible night.
That as well. Was it Hev? Hev did a board with Shane, didn't she, as well? I think they were doing a board, and they.
Well, I mean, this was like something out of the films, because we had his friends come through again, because a lot of it was, if we hadn't had Shane there, we wouldn't have understood.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of military speak on there, we wouldn't have understood it. But aside from the incredible thing is, I mean, remember, I was quite nervous about this night because it was on my back that we'd gone there. But, we do the Ouija board, and then you've got ceiling lights, and they started to flicker, and then they went really bright and all went out. This was the stuff of films. This is the kind of interaction that we dream of.
Yeah,
it was just a constant that night. I mean, yeah. Obviously, it's quite an upsetting backstory, but at the same time, this is why we do it, because we want to communicate with these guys and find this stuff out. So.
It's really good though, because everyone on there, like, don't turn it on, heavy breathing, and then everyone seems to sort of. I think everyone sort of captured, the same one. I think the last time we played it, it was. I don't think the platform we did it on wasn't the best in terms of sound, but everyone's really picked up on that one, which is really, really good. So it's nice that people are hearing what we hear as well, and certainly sort of a few different comments we'll go back and have a listen to. But so that's our selection then. That's our selection of EVPs we brought to you. Like I said, apologies for the little break in the episode, down to a Facebook meltdown, but we got back there in the end. It's been good. It's been really, it's been really, really, really good to sort of bring them to you. It's really good to share our evidence. Like I say, while we're not out investigating, it's the next best thing, really. And can't thank you enough for everyone that's been on tonight. Like I say every time, this is my Bob Geldof moment again. Keep liking, sharing. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you click the follow. We're going to try and, like I said, subscribe. Sorry, yes. So what we want to try and do is bring our live events to you. I know I say it every time, you're getting bored of me saying it, but we want to evidently, when we start investigating again, being able to bring you, signal permitting and event permitting, we want to bring you live investigations. So everything that you've sort of seen tonight in terms of footage, hopefully you'll be there. If you can't make it or you're not in the same part of the country and stuff, you can still watch us and be a part of the event. And so we've had some really good stuff from it, really. But we can't do that until we can't do that until we get to around 1,000 followers, I think, on YouTube. So we need to make sure that everyone on this is clicking subscribing on YouTube. It's been really good. So thanks, Donna, for sending your footage in. It's really good to be able to sort of listen to what you've captured out there as well, and we can add it to our sort of repertoire, really, of stuff that we've caught as well. So it'd be really, really good. Next week's show is going to be next Friday, and we're going to talk castles. Yes. Castles. So we've been really lucky enough to go to some really good castles, haven't we? Like Warwick, Craigienos. There's loads in there. St Breville's, Dudley. Where else?
Leicester.
Lancashire. Lancaster Castle was amazing. Really, really good one as well. Oxford Castle. Loads. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we'll do the one show on the I think we're going to bring to you the show on the Friday evening around 7:00 again, and we're going to be talking through castles. So we're talking through our favourite castles, because again, our favourite castle may not be the where we caught the best evidence. So we'll talk through the favourite castles, and then we'll bring you hopefully some evidence of what we've captured in castles. To sort of share with you again, but we're done.
Good.
Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for your patience as well while we were sorting glitches out and stuff. And have a really good Easter weekend. Hope you get loads of chocolate. Yeah, hope you get those chocolates. Hope you have a very nice weekend. Hopefully the weather holds out again. It's a nice day today, wasn't it? So hopefully it sort of stays nice, and we'll speak to you next Friday. But thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're watching back on this, feel free to comment. We'll try and answer as we go through as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll speak to you next Friday.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Cheers,
for watching.
guys.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.